Good morning, everybody. It is just that time of year. I'm not talking about Christmas shopping. I'm talking about sore throats, runny noses, coughing, congestion. It may not require a trip to the doctor, but your little one, or maybe even you, need some relief. We're talking to our pediatrician, Dr. Keith Watson, today about using over-the-counter medications. Dr. Watson, great to have you back.
Good morning.
And I know you're seeing a little bit of everything in your clinic, or you may not. Some people are staying home, and I don't need to go to the doctor, but I sure need some relief. So what do you advise your parents about over-the-counter medications?
Wow, lots of things. Maybe the easiest is that they understand that over-the-counter cough and cold medicines don't cure the illness.
Right.
The illness has to run its course.
Okay.
If you take a cough medicine or a stuffy nose medicine, it helps that symptom for a few hours, but you're still going to have the little respiratory virus that's causing your cold. And those colds are going to last anywhere from at best 3 or 4 days up to about a week or so.
Until they decided they've done all they needed to do.
Exactly, correct.
You tell your patients when you prescribe things for them to make sure you follow the directions of the prescription. So the same rule applies for over-the-counter meds.
Right, and it can be very confusing because, you know, one over-the-counter medicine that looks like it's got the same ingredients says don't use under 2, and another one will say don't use under 6.
Right.
It's very confusing. I always try to tell my parents, most over-the-counter medications, if your child is old enough to take, and that is a conversation in and of itself.
Okay.
They are safe to do, but if you buy any kind of over-the-counter medicine and you're not sure how much to give, call me and tell me, you pick this up at Walmart. Is it safe to give my 4-year-old? And if it is, how much?
How much, yes. How much can be. So when we're looking at medications also, because sometimes your child gets in that area where they're, you know, old enough maybe to take a medication that's not prescribed, that's not just for children, but then you're concerned if they are the right weight to take the medication. So what do I look at there?
So that is one where you definitely need to call your doctor and ask.
Okay.
Because most medications for children, down to that good old penicillin that you take for strep throat, most medications in our younger children are based upon what they weigh.
Okay.
And so you may have a child who is tall but thin, or you may have a child who's a little bit shorter but a little bit stockier, and those weights can vary. So that's a question for your doctor if you're ever unsure.
Okay, so if you have a question, just go ahead and call the doctor. You can also talk to the pharmacist while you're like at the drugstore or whatever. They can probably give you that same guidance. Back to the beginning of talking about sore throats. You and I having this conversation about sore throats, tonsillitis, strep throat, and lots of children deal with this, especially during this time of year. There used to be a time, I feel like when I was growing up, everybody was getting their tonsils out. So what's the guidance there on removing tonsils?
I had mine out at 6, just to throw out there.
We're in the same
I still remember that.
Yeah.
There is a protocol for having tonsils removed. A doctor called an ear, nose, and throat doctor would be the one to do that.
Okay.
And it typically revolves around chronic problems or recurrent problems. Repeated strep throat infections, where you get strep throat monthly.
I see.
And you have strep throat every month for 6 months. Most of the time, if the child is a little bit old, they will take the tonsils out to cut down on those strep throat infections.
But when they're coming into your office, the next step for you is refer to the ear, nose, and throat.
Right.
Okay.
If I feel like it's a chronic enough problem and it is causing health issues for the child, I will refer them to the specialist.
All right. All right. Well, good advice as always. Read the directions on the over-the-counter meds, and if you have a question, call
the
your doctor. All right. Great to see you as always. Thanks
Good
so much.
morning. Great to be here.
All right, so these are on the must-have list for Santa this year. A look at the hot toys of the season. That's coming up next. All right, we're back, everyone. The countdown is on to the holiday season, which means the race for this year's must-have toys is already underway. Bradley Blackburn has a look at what will be at the top of kids' lists and how you can get the best deals.
So this is Tinker.
At the Toy Insider in New York City, it already looks like Christmas morning. And these Santa's helpers are experts in knowing what kids want.
There's going to be a lot of them that'll definitely be hard to find after Thanksgiving.
Editor-in-Chief Marissa Silva says topping wish lists are new magic mixies that transform and crybabies that cry real tears. plus familiar favorites like Furby, Ninja Turtles, and Elmo, toys that millennial parents played with and are now buying for their kids.
Parents are the pullers of the purse strings, right? So toy makers are going to want to tug on the heartstrings, the nostalgia.
Everything Barbie is big too, still fueled by this summer's blockbuster movie.
You just cannot escape all of those pink boxes this year.
The Toy Insider says there are ways to snag popular toys and save. Shop in-store to find deals and toys that may be out of stock online. Use price matching policies at big retailers. And don't wait for a hot toy to go on sale.
If something goes on sale later, you can always exchange it or get a price adjustment, but you don't want to miss out and have that toy be sold out if you wait too long.
Tips to get the gifts without tying yourself in knots. Save that for the new high-tech version of Twister.
You do this all day, huh?
Yep.
And start now to get your holiday toy shopping all wrapped up. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Tracking firm Circana says toy sales revenue is down 8% so far this year compared to a year ago, so it could lead to bigger discounts this holiday season. So do you remember your favorite toy? It probably all depends on when you grew up. Barbies and G.I. Joes, balls and bats and gloves. Some old favorites have entered the National Toy Hall of Fame. Don Gross reports.
It was a stacked class of finalists this year for the National Toy Hall of Fame at the Strong Museum of Play. They were chosen based on the criteria of innovation, icon status, and longevity. And this was the first year with an added wrinkle, the Forgotten Five list. Curators Nick Ricketts and Michelle Parnett-Dwyer explain.
So this time we picked the five most often nominated toys that didn't get in, put them in a special list that we allowed the public to vote on.
They picked the Fisher-Price corn popper, which surprised me. As a parent, I find it very abrasive. It makes a very loud popping sound, but that's part of the nostalgia of it. And little kids love it. It helps them to learn how to walk.
Another inductee this year, the whole brand of Nerf.
It was first imagined as a soft ball that you could play inside with and not damage anything.
And it evolved into much more aggressive toys, but always done in such a playful way.
Next up, two other winners were collectibles, the multi-generational and influential baseball cards.
They started out as a way for kids who loved baseball to learn all the stats, about their favorite players, and they would collect those.
And Cabbage Patch Kids.
I played with Cabbage Patch Kids, so I have, of course, the nostalgia for that. They've been around since 1983, and they're still produced today, and kids are still enjoying them, and they've evolved, but they still have the original look, which is interesting to me.
But there is one notable name not on the inductee list.
I was very disappointed not to see Ken make it, but maybe next year.
Reporting in Rochester, Dan Gross, News 8.
A Vicksburg woman lost her job doing what she says was the right thing. How that decision has led to hope for others. That story is next on Mid Morning. All right, we're back, everyone. A woman from Vicksburg was fired from her job as a correctional officer after helping a young pregnant mom at a Louisiana prison. Roberta Bell's act of sacrifice is just the first step in her journey toward giving back. David Begnaud explains.
You got your bed made up? Got your book bag?
Roberta Bell is the kind of woman who wears her heart on her sleeve.
Hey, my bun, you ready?
Heck, she'd give it away in a heartbeat. She's 58 years old, lives in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and is raising 5 of her 8 grandchildren.
Come on, Jay.
And recently, there was another child who she took care of.
And there was an inmate there that needed assistance, some help. She was pregnant.
Bell met that inmate, Katie Bourgeois, at the Louisiana Transitional Center for Women. It is a prison where Bell worked as a correctional officer.
Situations in her family led her to where she didn't have anyone to really get her baby. And she wanted someone that would just keep the baby until it was her time to get out, because she only had like about 2 months to serve.
Bell says she alerted her supervisor, and he warned her it was a conflict of interest. She says the supervisor later asked her,
"Are you gonna still go through with it?" I said, "If the hospital called me to come get that baby, I'm going to get that baby." And he said, "Well, okay, I'm gonna have to terminate you."
The way she sees it, the prison gave her a blessing. 1 week after she was fired, Belle got a call. The baby was born.
I start taking pictures. I start snapping pictures. He was so precious. And I put his clothes and stuff on him, and I held him for a little while. They buckled him down in the seatbelt. We left and came home.
And Katie had named him?
Kaysen. And I was so amazed because my grandson's name is Kaysen.
Really?
Yes.
Did that feel like a God wink moment?
It did, and I said, Lord, this must be you.
As word spread, her living room became loaded with diapers and baby formula.
And when I tell you, David, God provided so much stuff. People came by, agencies called. It was just overwhelming, really, because I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't. That was part of my ministry that I'm getting ready to start.
Where are you taking me?
To the Serenity House.
Serenity House, as she calls it, is a double-wide trailer in the middle of rural Mississippi that she plans to make a transitional home for women leaving prison.
When do you think you'll have it ready?
I'm hoping it'll be ready before the first of the year. Because them ladies calling me.
I bet they are.
And
You'll be able to house 6 women in here.
Yes.
Okay.
it is one way she plans to continue what she says was best about working at that prison.
You love the job?
Oh, yeah.
Why'd you love it?
I loved it because it gave me a chance to talk to the women and to encourage them and to get them to go into a better direction and to let them know what they have done is bad, but they can do better.
Even with her admirable aspirations, she still had to work. So after she was fired, she took a job sorting cans at a food distributor. But that was only after she stayed home to take care of little Kaysen.
For 2 months, you raised that baby.
For 2 months, I raised him, yeah. I loved him as he was my own, and I still love him today.
On the 4th of July this year, Katie Bourgeois was released from prison. She went right to Roberta Bell's home to get her son.
She was kind of, a little nervous because he didn't really know her. And she said, he's crying, Miss Bell. I said, well, baby, he's got to get used to you all over again.
Got to meet you, Mama.
Yeah.
Katie said at the time,
I can't thank her enough for everything she's done. He's doing great.
What is the lesson for other people watching this story?
The lesson is, don't be afraid to step out and believe what's in your heart and know that God is going to take care of you.
Even if it's breaking a rule?
Even if it's breaking a rule.
Was it the right thing to do?
Oh, it was definitely the right thing to do. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it.
yes, the prison fired her for it, but the public rewarded her. You see, people everywhere were so touched by this story that they donated $90,000 to the lady with the big heart who rescued that tiny soul, his guardian angel, still moved by the lie that brought both of them heavenly peace.
I want to walk in the newness of life. Just let me be a follower of Christ. And he go to sleep. I sang him to sleep.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Coming up, the lead MC of The Roots tells his story. Good morning. We'll be right back. All right, and now to a very personal story about one of hip-hop music's most influential figures. Tariq Trotter is co-founder of The Roots. The Grammy winner has earned a reputation as your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Trotter's new memoir, The Upcycled Self, is out. He met with Anthony Mason at New York's Rockefeller Center and his hometown of Philadelphia and talked about how music and art gave him a crucial escape from a turbulent childhood.
panther mind. I made an elements you can't combine. I'm at a level of intelligence you can't define. Einstein, Shakespeare, Voltaire, Tesla, recording artist / psychology professor. I preach for the East.
That's from Trotter's 10-minute freestyle that went viral in 2017. In my opinion, one of the best freestyles of all time. The Grammy winner has earned a reputation as your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Trotter's new memoir, The Upcycled Self, is out tomorrow. First on CBS Mornings. He met with our own Anthony Mason at Pebble Bar in New York's Rockefeller Center and his hometown of Philadelphia. During their talk, he opened up about how music and art gave him a crucial escape from a turbulent childhood.
This was the first actual school of the arts that I attended.
At 10 or 11, how did it feel to come here?
It was otherworldly for me, and it always felt, sort of like a sanctuary, a hidden gem.
Cadillac needs space to roam. Where we headed from, she don't know.
Tariq Trotter is best known by his rap name, Black Thought. But before the lead MC for The Roots made music, he studied art.
With me, I don't decide. The drawing decides.
Yeah.
Taking classes at Fleischer Art Memorial in South Philadelphia.
You say in the book that art saved your life.
Yes. Yeah, art, has been my saving grace, my salvation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The book is Trotter's new memoir, The Upcycled Self.
I'm curious whether you saw anything about yourself that surprised you while you were writing this.
I think just the level of resilience.
Cause I'm the definition of tragedy turned triumph.
In the very first chapter, The Fire, Trotter begins, I burned down the family home when I was 6 years old. He was playing with a lighter. It was an accident.
Your mom she was very forgiving about the fire.
Oh, yes, my mother was super forgiving about the fire.
Were you tougher on yourself than she was?
Maybe I was. There was something lost in the fire that, we would never be able to get back.
What was lost?
I think a certain, innocence, a certain level of security.
Young Tariq was swept up in Philly's new hip-hop culture.
It was huge, and in it, I was given a voice. So I saw myself, I heard myself.
As a graffiti writer, the city became his canvas.
Like, this is the original art. The original art is writing on the wall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's carvings, it's writing, it's, cave paintings, and that's what this is.
So when did you typically do this?
Under cover of darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah, at night. We would, press our back against this one and scale up as high as we can go on this, and then, hop on that thing. And there was almost, parkour involved. But again, stuff that I would never think about attempting now.
What did doing graffiti mean to you at that time?
It was the utmost form of an expression of myself, of who I was.
Did the fact that it was public mean something?
It meant everything that it was public. It was the beginning of me being able to tell my story.
Of course, it was illegal.
I got arrested at 12 and I was sentenced to, I had 150 hours of what they call scrub times.
He was drafted into the city's anti-graffiti network, which would become the Mural Arts Program.
So when did this go up?
This went up about 2 years ago.
Open your head wide and let the thought inside. My style fortified by all of Philadelphia.
Ironically, the graffiti artist now has his own mural.
It feels awesome, but now in retrospect, I look at this image and I say, wow, I've lost a little bit of weight since that mural went up. So how can I touch it up? Can we go up there and, slim it down a little bit?
Trotter credits his mother for encouraging the artist in him. But she became addicted to street life and was murdered in the crack epidemic of the 80s.
To lose my mother in the way that I did at the time that I did, it was my worst nightmare.
What did you realize in that moment?
Young Tariq, came to understand that you can't change everyone, you can't save everyone.
But art would save him again. He found an unexpected collaborator in Amir Thompson, a musician who'd go by the name Questlove.
And you were saying at one time Amir was down there and you were down here?
Yeah, Amir was just a couple blocks away.
They became like brothers.
I think you say in the book that You and Amir are polar opposites.
In many ways, yeah.
But you fascinated each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, opposites attract.
Yeah, it's the roots.
It felt like Amir and I evolved into a group by mutual silent agreement, he writes.
It say what, man?
The break for the Roots came with an invitation to play a German music festival.
They offered you a big check.
I mean, you know, at the time, yeah, they offered us probably $4,000,
yeah,
something like that, which was huge.
What were you thinking at that moment?
We had made it, you know,
Yeah.
our demo and what would become our first album.
Yeah.
Were all related to that first gig.
Here's the bonus, the point of view to make things see through. A walking institution, I'm an HBCU.
As an artist, Trotter has been eternally restless. I wonder if that bottomless hunger, he asks, is still the hunger of a 6-year-old kid, desperate to remake the idyllic world he'd burned to the ground.
Does the hunger ever worry you? You know what I'm saying?
No, the hunger doesn't worry me, man. It's all I know.
Stay so hungry, rappers can't get no mercy. That's the reason any other one who spit won't verse me. It's so.
And Tariq Trotter says it's never let him down.
I haven't failed myself yet. You know, am I always at my best? No. You know, but yeah, my worst is the next man's treasure. Journalist, herbal eternalist, Olympic tournament level genius, author affirmative.
All right, stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We always love to hear from you. Have a great day.